Here we go, part 3.
Putting the case out there on the stand.
Let's not put a joint attacks in the case. But do you want me to say anything to the jury about which of the prosecution?
I can't
I'd welcome you to say that what he just said was not accurate.
I don't know.
Because I didn't tell him to be here at 2 o'clock.
Here's the deal. At one point early in the day, he said, I made him available at 2. Early in the day, you alerted me. Now, I don't know when I got to him. I just don't know. I did know that I asked him, Chris, please, before you
What do you
start.
want me to tell the jury? Just so that we can move on.
Let's just move on. I just don't want to be, I don't want the sniping directed at me.
Okay.
I don't want the sniping directed at me? Really? He's worried about his opinion instead of his freaking client? Yo, ponytail police, why don't you freaking worry about your client instead of you?
We can pull that back up. And then down here is Greg Reese. That's your contractor?
Slow down. Greg Reese is a contractor of mine. Stay away from those short fire yes and no's.
Yes.
Okay. So anybody come to this band.video page, they got you up top, the Alex Jones show, they can see anything they want there, right? Of your shows.
Yes.
You got
What's the question? Are you saying if somebody goes to my website, they can click on any link? That's correct. I'm not sure what you're asking.
the War Room with Owen Schroyer. He's the guy who comes on after you, right?
Yes.
So you got to make a statement, and then he throws in a little question at the end, and he answers.
American Journal. That's the gentleman who comes on before you. Those are your 3 live broadcasts each day, yes?
Yes, Chris.
Okay. You can back out of that.
If I'm on the jury, I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with any of this shit?
Formal courtroom. Attorney Pax.
Attorney Matty. Thank you.
So, Attorney Matty, Attorney Pax.
Did I miss your question?
I tend to run a pretty formal courtroom, Mr. Jones, which is why I called you Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
So, Attorney Matty, Attorney Pax.
Attorney Matty.
You've been telling your audience, Mr. Jones, this week and last, that this is a kangaroo court, that Judge Bellis is a tyrant. It's part of a plot.
Oh, he brought up plot again. He's not supposed to bring up a conspiracy theory. Hear this compound question? So you tell your audience that this is that, and the judge is this, and that this is a... What's the question? Why is attorney objecting?
Because you don't want your audience to know what's really happening here, isn't that?
Now he's making a statement because you don't want... Are you telling me what I want? I'm not sure of the question.
Correct.
Objection, motion in limine opening a door.
Okay, so the attorney did get this objection. Motion limine meaning you can't talk about the plot, and then I didn't hear the other one.
I don't think I'm opening any door with that.
All right, so I think you can answer that question, sir, but just remember the issues that are off limits.
Because your credibility, sir, is the most important thing with your audience, isn't it?
How do I answer a question, Your Honor, that I've been barred from answering under orders of the court?
All right, so the question is your credibility is the most important thing to you. Is that a question that
It's the
you
most
can...
important thing with your audience.
No,
right?
my most important.
No, okay, no. Your credibility is not your most important.
Your Honor, he's not letting my client answer the question. You can't just say no and shut me up. He's got a qualifier. The answer is no with a qualification, but I'd like to be able to get my answer out. What a freaking joke.
It's crushing
Okay.
the globalist.
Crushing globalists. And you tell your audience that they need to keep letting you crush those globalists for the sake of their own families, right?
Objection, Judge, motion limiting door opening.
Good.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I
I'm
don't think
going
that
to
there's...
excuse the jury at this point for 5 minutes so that we can work out this issue. Okay? So just be patient with us as we've been all along.
So maybe we should excuse.
Be right, and I just may not be getting it. So why don't we explore it a little bit and just...
My objection was...
Well, I want to get the question again and the line of questioning and see what the concern
I
is.
recall it, Judge. but if you want to hurt that.
No, okay.
You know, Attorney Maddy inquired of Mr. Jones whether his credibility was his most important attribute. He said it wasn't. Then Mr. Jones offered crushing the globalist was, which was non-responsive. However, Mr. Maddy adopted the non-responsive answer in his next question and asked about crushing the globalists. Mr. Jones would testify that he believes that this trial was part of a plot to silence him funded by the names I'm prohibited to utter in the jury's presence, and we've had extended argument about that. So I'm simply alerting the court that, in my view, if we're going to have a consistent law of the case, and Attorney Maddy is going to adopt that comment in his questioning, that's opening a door that I will seek to walk through. And so that the purpose of the objection...
Meaning he's opened a door I will seek to walk. And when he crosses him, he gets to bring it up again.
was to alert the court and counsel of that.
So we don't, Attorney Maddy, we don't want to inject politics into this, so what do you suggest?
Nobody's injecting politics into this. What I'm trying to get at, the question I was just about to ask Mr. Jones, was the fact that he tells his audience that they need him to crush the globalists to support their families. I'm not getting into whatever he's talking about this plot is in this courtroom. What I'm getting into is the general approach he takes.
How is the globalist not politics?
Which is to monetize his audience's fears and pain and misery.
You don't get to take half an answer and adopt the one part you like and ignore the part you don't. And I think there's a way to ask that without opening the door.
So the judge is thinking, how can I rule the best way to hurt Alex and to help this guy? That's what she's thinking.
His relationship with his audience that has anything to do with who's funding this lawsuit.
Judge, if he's going to question my client's motives for wanting to crush the globalists and suggest it's all about $1, that's putting what he's all about right in the center of this case. And you may recall one of the questions I asked Clint Watts. Do you know whether Mr. Jones, I didn't use this term, gins the anger of the public up, or is he responding to an anger that's already there? Watts didn't know. Mr. Jones, whatever you may think of him and his conduct in Sandy Hook, has beliefs about the globalists. To question those motives about him, I think, will entitle me as a matter of right to respond in my rehabilitation of him.
And bring up what topics, though?
Who are these globalists? You were just, you were told that you were publishing 512 and 513 as part of an effort to rile up your audience to make a buck. You've denied that. What are you really doing? Are you trying, who are these globalists? Why do you think this trial is part of an effort to sign, who is the tyrant? Why do you think the judge has behaved tyrannical? Nobody may like the answers he gives in this courtroom, but they're his answers. And if Attorney Maddy is going to call his credibility into question on these, I think I have a right to inquire about his beliefs. And I think that the court's been pretty firm with me in the last 3-4 days about where I can and can't go. And the record is clear. I think I've tried to ask questions within the scope of the exhibits the plaintiffs offer, but they always offer something and then say, you can't use it for the purposes of defense. We can only use it as a sword.
So if you're going to ask Mr. Jones about the globalists, Attorney Titus wants to elicit testimony about who the globalists are, and that apparently would violate.
I don't know if it would violate it. What I just asked Mr. Jones.
I think that I accept Attorney Pattis's representation that it would.
Okay, well,
am I understanding what you're saying, Attorney Pattis?
Well, I mean, obviously I'd have to get your permission to inquire, but I believe that this is opening the door.
If you accept Attorney Pattis's view here, then pretty much any question I ask Mr. Jones about what he does, Attorney Pattis is going to say it opens the door. So I don't think me asking him whether or not he's making money from saying this.
You didn't ask that.
To this, whatever his.
Here's the problem with that. That's not the question you asked, Mr. And the record is quite clear. Mr. Jones was asked a question about whether his credibility was the most important thing. He denied it and then gratuitously offered that crushing the globalists was. Counsel had two options at that point. It could have moved to strike that answer as non-responsive and then gone on to the question that he just asked. You're just here to make a buck. But he didn't. He adopted the answer, opening the door as part of a pattern in this case to use their
great argument. Good job.
The motions in limine here as a sword rather than a shield. And we're entitled to swordsmanship as well, and we will engage it.
All right. So I think that you can inquire about his monetizing his audience and making money, but I think that you have to steer clear of eliciting testimony that opens the door to his testifying as to who the globalists are.
Thank you, Ren.
What he just did is blow off the judge because he didn't like her answer.
Do you need a minute?
No, I'm ready.
Yes. Okay.
Bring him in! I don't like her with little pearl earrings, little pearl necklace. Probably ain't had a pearl necklace in a while. But anyway, I digress. Wow. Takes a long time. Alex shaking his head a lot on the stand. That doesn't look good. Try not to do that. Damn, they're just walking in?
We all thank you for your continued patience. Whenever you're ready, King.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alex is good at attacking and confronting and not backing down and being in your face. That's not all good things to be on the stand. Not all the time. He can be that way. But he's not real good at being touchy-feely. Kind of like me.
Mr. Jones, since this trial started September 13th. It's day 7. How much money has Free Speech Systems made?
I haven't kept track of it.
You haven't been getting daily text messages with the sales numbers?
No.
Your testimony is in the last week. Nobody sent you any text messages or the communications with the daily sales?
Asked and answered, and he's going around. That's not what I said. I've gotten text messages from lots of people. You asked me if I got text messages on one specific thing, and I said I didn't. And I don't have any recollection of getting any of those. Would you like me to pull my phone out and check my text messages?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Would you mind checking your phone at the break?
Objection.
Don't have my phone with me.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance.
Objection.
You normally get...
Objection. Shut up and let her rule. His objection is going to be he's implying that my client is lying and he needs to check.
Oh.
There's an objection.
That's not discovery.
I couldn't hear.
Objection, that's not proper.
Ongoing discovery obligation.
Well, if that is the case, Attorney Titus, I'm sure you'll deal with it at the break. So we can move on.
You normally get daily sales reports, right?
Sometimes I do.
Tim Fruget sent you those?
No.
Tim Fruget sent you those back in 2019 and 2020?
Yes, that's when he was an employee, yes.
Right. Now he is an affiliate
Yes.
with you, right? He helps run this website called freeworldoutlet.com,
Yes.
and you have a financial interest in that, don't you?
I think it buys products from us.
Excuse me?
Buys products from us and sells them.
It buys products from you. You make money that way.
Mm-hmm.
And
See, he searched for an answer and gave him some place to go. He should have went, what do you mean by financial interest? I don't have stock in a place. I'm not sure what you mean. Make him ask the question. Don't think of what he meant and then answer, because now you give him a place to go.
and then they sell products on that website, right?
Yes.
And that's Tim Fruget, your former business director, right?
Yes.
And you set him up financially to do that, yes?
I don't believe so, no.
You don't recall testifying in your deposition, sir, that you funded Free World Outlet initially to get him off the ground?
Can you refresh me with that testimony?
I'm asking you right now if you recall that.
I don't remember. Free World Outlet's a very small site. I'm not really paying attention to it.
Okay. And
Should have just said, I don't remember. I've already testified that I didn't. If I did, I don't remember doing that.
did you tell the corporate rep about that, freeworldoutlet.com?
I don't remember.
Okay. Who was the corporate rep, by the way?
Brittany.
Objection, which one? When? Timing.
The one who testified here.
Brittany Paz.
And so Tim Fruget, who now helps run freeworldoutlets.com, he used to give you daily sales reports, yes?
Sometimes, yes.
Who does it now?
See how he cuts him off as soon as he starts to answer? Because he gets what he wants, then he wants you to shut up. Don't let an attorney do that. Give your qualifiers and answer the question and that's your chance to sell the jury or to make them think that you know what you're talking about and that you're credible. When an attorney's allowed to shut you down like that, and then you stop, or your attorney doesn't object, or you don't object, he gets to run his narrative. Don't let him do that on you on a stand.
I've not been getting those reports.
Okay, well, who does it when you do get them?
I can go in and I can pull up the reports myself, but I've not been doing that because we don't.
Mr. Jones, the question I asked you is who's doing it now?
Your Honor, didn't let him answer the question. That's bullshit that his attorney isn't objecting to him interrupting him.
When you do get them.
Well, I'm not allowed.
Does anybody send you?
Objection, he's trying to answer, Judge.
I'm not allowed under the judge's order to tell you about what happened to my company.
That's not true, Mr. Jones. What I'm asking you is who sends you daily sales reports?
Yeah, he's answered, asked and answered
He did ask and answer.
several
I
times.
didn't get the answer, so can you say the answer? Who would?
Okay, you're telling me to answer the question.
All right, so, well, I'm going to excuse the jury again. You're going to get your exercise today for those of you who wear Fitbits.
See, he shouldn't have said, so you're telling me to answer. He should have just freaking answered. As soon as he said that, she knew he was going to go to where she ordered him not to, and now she's going to get to direct him. You can answer this, and you can answer that, but you can't answer this.
So just put your pads down and you'll follow along. Nice and loud.
I'll get there, Judge.
So,
That calls for the identity of a person.
no. So, in fairness to Mr. Jones, he could have said whatever the lingo is for a bankruptcy. What were you going to say?
Yes, until yesterday, the CRO, the bankruptcy's in full control of everything.
All right, so,
And they,
That's not responsive to my question.
Objection.
no.
because I can't say it's,
So the question, no, you did the right thing. You asked who sent him who gets the daily sales reports now, and if the answer was the bankruptcy person, then he knows he's not supposed to say that.
I said who sends you daily sales
And
reports?
he says no one does. When he gets them from the bankruptcy people.
I don't think he said no one does.
He
but
said no
That
one
is correct.
3 times.
All right, so what do you propose to do? Because he's following
Move
the
on.
rules. Okay. Well
So see,
done.
thank you.
so now he gets to move on. He gets to cause all this, and now he gets to move on. Now the jury, when they come in, if they're paying attention, they'll know that he got shut down. But most of the times they go on break, they're bullshitting, they're getting snacks, they're coming back in, this is BS, and they just want to get on with their day so they don't pick up that.
All right, so why don't we get the panel? I think your seats whenever you're comfortable. So I hope you don't think please be seated. I hope you don't think we're being impolite. We have issues to discuss, and it's so much easier to have you all get up and go to your own than us trying to all set up somewhere else. So just bear with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jones, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Do you agree with me that your reputation is very important to you?
Objection to the form, Judge.
Overruled.
No, I don't agree.
Do you agree that protecting your identity from lies and falsehoods about you is something that you care about?
I care about freedom.
That was my question. So my question was, do you agree that protecting your identity, your own identity, from people lying about you, spreading falsehoods about you, that's important to you, is it not?
It's a yes or a no or a
Yes.
I mean, that's just a human thing, isn't it? Nobody wants to be lied about, right?
No.
And particularly about the core things that make them who they are, right?
Yes.
And you have those things in your life, your family.
Sorry, I was eating a grape. Especially about the core things. What do you mean core things? What are core things to you or to me? Explain that. Don't just answer.
Family, yes.
Yes.
Your work,
Yes.
your relationships with your loved ones, right?
Yes.
The lessons you learned as a young person about how to be in the world, yes?
Yes.
All of these things that go into who you are as a person, right?
Yes.
And you would never want to be maligned or lied about those things that are core to you, correct?
Yes, but I have been plenty.
You have been, and that's been hurtful, isn't it?
The world isn't an easy place. When people become political figures, they get in their arena.
You know what, I think that was probably what you were just trying to do there, was to suggest.
Objection.
Sustained, and as I told the jury, and I know you're probably sick of hearing it from me, but this case is not about politics, okay? It's a hearing of damages. Why don't we move on?
Were you just trying to suggest that my clients, these families, deserved what they got because they had stepped into the arena? Is that what you were just trying to say?
Objection.
But he rang that bell. See, he just got the bell rung. And you can't take that back. The jury's like, oh, is that what he said?
Argumentative.
No.
That's not what you, okay.
But I'm saying when you get,
That's not what you were saying.
but
Just wait for,
So,
She should have corrected the attorney and said, hey, there's an objection on the ruling, and I haven't ruled. You need to be quiet, and the witness needs to be quiet. She hasn't corrected this attorney not once.
what I'm trying to get at, though, Mr. Jones, is that these things that are core to who you are, core to anybody, is they're lied about and defamed. Even just to a small group of people, that can be very hurtful, can it?
yes.
And although you've been
See, he got to editorialize this long thing and then ask a really short question, right? And yes.
critical of this court and the judicial system, you yourself have sought protection in the courts when people have lied about you, haven't you?
So he's trying to say that you sued other people. I would say, I don't understand the question. Don't be afraid to make him restate questions, especially if they rattle.
I mean, I have before.
Yeah, and in fact, during this very lawsuit, you yourself have brought a lawsuit against others who you claimed had defamed you, correct?
You're talking about the Young Turks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You did that, right?
Yes.
Can we bring up Exhibit 434 for Mr. Jones, please?
Fuller ID.
It's ID, Your Honor.
When he said you're talking about the Young Turks, he should have objected. You don't ask the attorney questions. So he's giving this attorney where, oh, are you talking? So he's clarifying the question, which he shouldn't have to do. He should say, restate the question, or who are you talking about specifically, or I don't understand the question. Don't ask them, are you talking about the Young Turks? Oh, yes, I am. The attorney got away with that shit, and the judge should have stopped it, or his attorney should have stopped it.
134.
Motion in limine politics.
434. Sure. I can give you my copy, Judge, if you want to
No,
look at it.
I don't want to take your copy. Just give me a minute. Oh, it's Ron. We have to keep Ron on his toes. Thank you.
She can't even open her own binder. Are you serious? This is the empowered, strong woman that's on the bench? She can't open a freaking binder? Oh my God. Alex is checking his watch in front of the jury. Never a good sign. Why is she talking? Oh, I was about to say, why is she talking to one attorney without the other one?
And he believes that they're part of another political conspiracy. I mean, the problem with this fellow is everything is part of a conspiracy.
The complaint, which is an admission, is offered to show his knowledge of damages, his understanding of this, the Young Turks are another media organization.
It is part of a conspiracy against him.
Look, the that to me is open politics, and beyond that, that's not relevant for the purpose to which
But you don't
this is
get,
offered.
my position is, Judge, the plaintiffs don't get to choose the purpose without opening. They can't say, well, we get to hurt, but you can't help your own client. It doesn't work that way. In the same way that many of the exhibits they've offered contain the very figures whose names I'm prohibited from mentioning.
That's pretty bullshit. If they can use an exhibit with a name on it, and yet he can't bring it up, that's bullshit.
I'm using it, and so.
Well, I don't know that you're using it. The court needs to rule.
I'd ask you, I think this opens the door to anything beyond the issues that I'm going to ask him.
I'm going to ask him, I'll ask him why he sued the Young Turks, and then they're going to have to live with that answer.
And is it going to violate my order?
It might.
But you don't know. It might not. I mean, I don't know.
If he
I'm
answers
asking because I don't
truthfully,
even know.
if he answers truthfully, he will talk about them being part of having been co-opted by a political opponent. Yes.
Based on what?
It doesn't
Well,
have,
if
it
he
can
says
be,
it- if he
it's
says
an
it, then I'll
understanding.
just instruct the jury like I did politics is.
Well, I mean, my contention, judges, that the plaintiffs do not get to open a door and then say, you can't look inside the room. And so there are ways to do this without opening that door, but if they're going to open it, we're going to walk.
How do you do it without opening the door?
You've sued, you know about damages. No, so if the contention is, you've sued, you know how people can sue for defamation. You sued for another group, correct? He acknowledged he did. You were seeking damages. You have money damages for your reputation. Yes. That's because you believe that's an appropriate thing to do. Isn't that right? I think that's what they're trying to get.
It's nothing political.
I don't know if I would have said all that, because if they weren't going there, now they know where to go.
I disagree with them, but I'm agreeing with them.
Can I order this piece of the record?
Look, I'm going to ask the questions about it, and we can argue about what doors.
Well, no, I'm
Much
objecting.
better if you did it along those lines so it doesn't open the door.
I don't want to talk about politics with this guy at all. I'm going to ask him
He
about this
doesn't.
lawsuit and his claim that he was previously. Okay, well,
Judge, I think they do so at their peril.
fine.
So we have the record and it will be admitted over.
Let's just give the jury a little background. So you brought this lawsuit against an individual named Brianna Wu, correct?
Yes.
An individual named Andrew Kimmel,
Slow down. Don't get caught up in the rapid fire yeses.
yes?
Yes.
And a entity called the Young Turks LLC, correct?
Yes.
And you brought that lawsuit in September of 2019, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So about a year and a half after this lawsuit had been filed.
Yes.
And do you know who Brianna Wu is?
It was people online, so-called journalists, saying,
I just asked you about Brianna Wu, so I want to ask
I don't.
You ask a question and let him answer it. Stop interrupting my freaking client. Dude, ponytail boy, wake the fuck up.
I don't remember who she is now.
Okay, you don't remember who she is, thank you. Do you remember who Andrew Kimmel is?
Not really.
Okay. But you sued them.
I mean, yes.
Okay. And the Young Turks LLC, am I correct that that's a media organization?
It's a left-wing couple of idiots.
Yes.
Okay. And you brought this lawsuit because you claimed that these people had spread a lie about you, right?
Objection, motion eliminated.
Don't answer, shut
I
up.
brought the lawsuit to get him to retract it and stop saying it.
But what you wanted
It wasn't money.
Well, we'll get into that. But what you wanted was you sued them because you believed they had spread a lie about you, correct?
Yes, it was directly connected to this case.
Correct. So let's get into that. So what happened was, back in 2019, you were required to produce some documents to the plaintiffs in this case, correct?
And I did.
Okay. And among the documents that you gave to your lawyers and that your lawyers produced to us were some emails, correct?
Yes. I
And
think 207,000.
so, sir,
See how he stops and then he adds? If he shut the fuck up and thought before he answered, he could say, yes, we gave him documents with over 200, and he could say it in one answer. He freaking pauses, then go, oh, I answered so damn fast, I got more shit, let me add this shit. He's a horrible witness. Who's ever coaching him should be slapped.
really? You just have to answer my
Right,
question.
so-
Yes or no? All right.
Objection to the
So,
comments.
excuse me. So if anyone, either of you need any help with any witness not answering the questions that you're asked, ask me to do it. That's my job. I like to do my job. I'm not bad at my job.
That's debatable, you freaking left-wing witch.
I know you know what I'm gonna say, Mr. Jones, go here.
Just yes or no?
Yeah, or I don't.
Okay.
Okay, just answer, sir.
And,
No,
oh, I'm sorry.
still speaking.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Mr. Jones, just look at me. Just yes, no, or I don't touch.
Actually, yes.
Thank you.
Let me talk to you like a kid again in front of the jury. So they keep saying that I have to explain things slow to you because you're too stupid to get it.
Your lawyers, you gave your lawyers some emails to send to us, and they sent them, right?
Yes,
And attached to some of those emails were images of child pornography, correct?
yes.
And
See, he's got him answering yes on the fire. Bad move. Shit, I'm at 30 minutes again? Damn. All right, part 4.